Party, I think it.
We're starting our Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission meeting for this morning on May 21st. Thank you and welcome. So do I have may I get a roll call, Mr. Atkins?
Chair Harris, stand by.
Give me 1 minute, we're gonna difficulty. Give me a few minutes, please.
Apologies, everyone. We are going to be standing by for technical issues. Welcome back to the meeting. Calling roll. Chair Harris.
Here.
Commissioner Bartley, I believe, is going to be late. Commissioner Hedrick.
Here.
Commissioner Linden, I believe, will be late. Commissioner Pettowing. Commissioner Geraldo.
You're muted, Manny.
They always say I'm muted. I think it's the computer. I'm here.
Thank you. And Commissioner Washington.
Present.
Thank you. And confirming Vice Chair Harris and Commissioner Bailey will be absent today. We do have quorum with 5.
Great, thank you. Our first item this morning is the approval of the consent agenda. We have 3 items on that this morning. The first is the approval of the May 21st, 2025 commission meeting agenda. The second is the resolution 25-08 Bethesda minor master plan amendment. And the third and last is resolution 25-10 Paint Branch Stream restoration easements. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move approval.
I'll
I
second.
second.
Moved by Commissioner Geraldo, second by Commissioner Hedrick. We have a roll call, please.
Chair Harris.
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Aye.
Commissioner Pettowing.
Aye.
Commissioner Geraldo.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
Aye.
Confirming that Bartley and Linden have not yet joined. Thank you. That's 5. Motion passes.
Great, motion passes. The next is the approval of commission minutes for April 16, 2025. Do I have a motion for approval?
So move.
No second.
Moved by Commissioner Geraldo, second by Commissioner Hedrick. We have all in favor? Oh, we have a roll call, please.
Yes, and I note Commissioners Bartley, Harris, Pettowing, and Washington were absent from the last meeting, so should be abstained. Thank you. Chair Harris.
Abstain.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Aye.
Commissioner Pettowing.
Aye.
Commissioner Geraldo.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
Abstain.
Confirming Bartley and Linden have not yet arrived. Motion passes with 3. Thank you.
Next, the general announcements for the upcoming month. So this Memorial Day holiday on the 26th, the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month that we're both commissions are celebrating. The Jewish American Heritage Month, the Military Appreciation Month, and the upcoming Juneteenth holiday on June 19th. The next is item number 4, committee and board reports. They're for information only. It's the Employees Retirement System Board of Trustees regular meeting minutes from April 1st, 2025. And then the next items are under action. Item 5, action and presentation items. The first is the CAS salary savings transfer request that Ms. Charles will be presenting this morning. Welcome, Ms. Charles.
Good morning. Again, Terry Charles, Corporate Budget Office. I'm before you today to request your approval to reallocate anticipated year-end savings from Central Administrative Services estimated at $2,231,918. First, as specifically committed to much earlier in this fiscal year, CAS agreed to take personnel services savings primarily generated from salary lapse from the departments and transfer those funds to the internal service fund for the commission-wide IT initiative, more specifically to support the ERP upgrade project. As requested here, we anticipate year-end collections of at least $1.65 million. And as listed in the memo, DHRM will provide $1 million, finance is anticipated to provide $400K and so forth. I do want to note that the anticipated savings from the Merit Board and the CAS support unit are derived from non-personnel savings. Additionally, 3 departments also have requested further use of the remaining savings. The legal department is requesting $61,277 for the Westlaw online service subscription for next year. The finance department is requesting to take $125,641 to prepay its internal service fund contributions to the CIO and CWIP funds, and this is due to adoption of the FY26 non-recommended reductions. Similarly, corporate IT, due to the adoption of the FY26 non-recommended reductions, is requesting to take $225,000 to prepay its annual capital equipment fund contribution, which is used for cybersecurity fortification efforts. And additionally, or I should say lastly, corporate IT is also requesting to take $170,000 in savings to assist in them being able to restock on-hand computer equipment. Any year-end savings beyond those stated here will fall to the bottom line, as we would say, and be added to the administration fund reserve balance. That ends my presentation of the request, and I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Charles. Are there any questions or comments, Ms. Charles, on her requested transfer of $2.232 million in funds?
Move approval.
Yeah. Hearing no comments or questions, is there a second to the approval?
Second, Commissioner Washington.
Yeah, so approved by Mr. Giraldo, second by Ms. Washington. May I have a roll call, please?
Chair Harris,
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Pettaway,
Aye.
Commissioner Giraldo,
I vote aye, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Washington,
Aye.
calling for Bartley or Linden. A response, motion passes 5.
Thank you so much. The next item is 5B, Resolution 2509, approval of the M-NCPPC Employees Retirement System Fiscal Year 26 operating budget. For Ms. Jacqueline Harris, who is presenting this item.
Thank you, Chair Harris. Good morning, Commissioners. Jacqueline Harris, for the Executive Director for the Employees Retirement System. I'm here on behalf of the Board of Trustees for the Employees Retirement System to request the recommendation to approve the FY26 operating budget for the Employees Retirement System in the amount of $3,665,000. At the May 6th Board of Trustees meeting, the ERS Board approved the operating budget for FY26. And each year, per the Memorandum of Understanding between the Commission and the Board of Trustees, the Board prepares an operating budget outlining the projected expenses for the Commission's review and approval. The FY26 operating budget in the amount of $3,665,000 represents a 5.5% increase from FY25, and it supports the strategic priorities for the upcoming fiscal year, including a completion of an actuarial experience study for the 5-year period ending June 30, 2025, an organizational study for the ERS, enhancements to member services, and investment management searches to support the ERS portfolio's asset allocation policy. Once again, the recommendation that I'm here for requesting your approval for is for the FY26 approval of the FY26 operating budget in the amount of $3,665,000. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Are there any questions or comments of Ms. Harris regarding this item?
I have just one question real quick. What was the reason for a 5.5% increase?
Some of the strategic priorities we have planned for the upcoming fiscal year, the actuarial experience study, where they look at the past experience in terms of the census data, that's an additional cost this year. We normally don't perform that every year. There's also additional money included in the budget to perform investment management searches, which require legal reviews. The board just updated its asset allocation policy in recent months, which is going to lead to new managers being added to the portfolio in terms of support of that new asset allocation policy in terms of implementing that. We're also looking at enhancements to our member services. We recently made Member Direct, which is an online self-service tool available to both retirees as well as active participants. Now that we have that tool available to members, we're looking to enhance that tool going forward so the members can experience a better experience in terms of usage. Really, I'm hoping I'm answering your questions, but there's multiple things within the budget that are geared towards the organizational study, improving and modernizing the ERS so that we're more sustainable going forward.
Thank you very much, Ms. Harris.
I have a question. I'm just curious. Is the cycle for the budget for the retirees different than the regular cycle? Because we are almost finished with all the budget, and then retiring comes from where the budget comes from, and is it part of the regular budget for the commission? Because we finished the budget and this is just coming here now.
So the employees retirement system is separate from the commission. We're our own separate entity, so we do not follow the schedule of the commission. Per the memorandum of understanding between the commission and the ERS, we are operating, we have that ability to operate separately. And therefore, everything goes through the board and first before it comes to the commission, because obviously it has to be vetted by the trustees prior to coming to the commission.
How is it funded? Is it funded from general bonds or is it funded separately from the retirees? Where is the funding coming from for the, the 3.5 million that, how is it being supported?
It's supported, everything's supported from the ERS. It's not supported from any outside sources. So the portfolio, investment portfolio, the same way we're paying benefit payments outside of the earnings and the investments that we have, it's the same way we're paying for our internal operations. These operations include investment management expenses as well as any expenses we create as well through our service providers, custodian, investment consultant. All of the underlying expenses that support the operations of the ERS are generated from the income of the investment portfolio.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mr. Pettit, that's a great question, and it's good to know that this, from what I heard, it's funded from income from investment. That's what I heard. Okay, great, thank you. So wonderful. So do I have
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Second.
great. So voted approval by Ms. Washington, second by Mr. Giraldo. We have a roll call, please.
Chair Harris,
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Pettaway, Commissioner Giraldo,
Vote aye.
Commissioner Washington,
Aye.
call for Bartley and Linden. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Great. The next item is an information item. It's a follow-up from some questions that Commissioner had when this was first presented maybe 6 months ago. It's the follow-up on the GLP-1 drug policy, and Mr. Allen is presenting that this morning. Welcome.
Yeah. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Todd
Good
Allen.
morning.
I think the
Good
volume's
morning.
very high. It's on. Good morning. I'm Todd Allen, Corporate Director of Human Resources, and Jennifer McDonald, our Benefits Manager of Health and Benefits, is with me to present an update relating to our prescription drug benefit program and GLP-1 prescription drugs. As part of the insurance benefit package we offer to our employees, our retirees, and their dependents, that would be their eligible dependents, the Commission offers the CVS Caremark prescription drug program. The next slide, you can pull up the presentation, please.
I don't see the slide, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And I don't see
I'm
you
waiting for
either.
them. Right, I thought they had it up. I'm waiting for them to pull up our presentation.
Okay.
I was looking around to see if I can find you.
Thank you. I think they turned the volume up a little bit. Can you hear me better now?
Still don't see you.
Yes, I uploaded the presentation earlier, so it should be right there. All right, the next slide, please.
You may want to put it in the presentation mode.
Yes, please. So I'll just start explaining what you'll see on this slide. Prior to October 1, 2024, GLP-1 prescriptions were paid even if for off-label use for weight loss. It could be for diabetes or for weight loss. And weight loss was approved without any question whatsoever. So if somebody went to the doctor and said, I want a prescription, I'd like to lose a few pounds before high school reunion or wedding, that was automatically approved and paid under our plan. And we observed the expenses related to GLP-1 drugs were going up dramatically. So as we were working on our renewal for January 1, 2025, the renewal was quite high, and this was one of the cost drivers. So when we got that information, we consulted with our consultants, Aon, as well as CVS Caremark. They had two kind of modest programs that they were recommending we consider because we did want to cover GLP-1 drugs under our plan. About 50% of the programs in the United States do cover GLP-1 drugs for weight loss, about 50% don't. And we tend to strive to have a high quality plan that meets our diverse participants' needs. So we wanted to continue to support that, the use of GLP-1 drugs. But we needed some clinical oversight to the program since the costs were skyrocketing quickly. So we implemented a CVS Smart Edit program, which paid for GLP-1 drugs for diabetes only if there was a confirmed history of diabetes or approved by prior authorization. So there's some additional controls in place, consulting with one's doctor, et cetera. And we implemented CVS Utilization Management Weight Loss Bundle. All prescriptions for GLP-1 drugs for weight loss are paid only if physician prior authorization requests meet certain clinical criteria, such as a BMI of 27 or above, with one or more weight-related complications like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or diabetes. So when we implemented the program, it got us much more accurate data because everything was just being approved automatically. The data was getting jumbled together. So in a minute, the slides are otherwise a little confusing. I've given you a lot of detail, but I'm just going to highlight some things. But that's one of the themes that you're going to start to see as we now have much better and more accurate data, which is a plus. So the next slide is a little busy. I just want to highlight what you're looking at here. Anti-obesity is referred to as a small o in front of the GLP-1s, and diabetes is kind of referred to as a small d. So that's kind of how you differentiate that we now have more accurate information as to what the drug can be used for. And it can be very helpful in both categories. There also are some potential health risks, and that's why we also thought this could be good for our employees. In essence, our goal with adding these measures was to promote the safe, appropriate, and cost-effective use of GLP-1s, leading to improved patient health outcomes for our employees, retirees, and their dependents getting healthier. So what we'll see here, particularly if you home in on the second bullet, I'll highlight about 5.3% of our members filled a GLP-1 script. That was about a 50% increase from the prior year. So again, usage went up about 50%. Pretty much a day doesn't go by where I don't get a social media or see something on television recommending I look into this. So there's a lot of marketing. And again, there's some research that indicates this can be very, very helpful. So we want to continue to support it. But with the dramatic increase, it was advised to add some clinical management to the program. So the next slide shows how things sorted themselves out a little bit after we got better data. So after October 1, we get what's called quarterly data from CVS Caremark. So we've had a chance to get a little bit of feedback, and the overall program is viewed as a success for these two programs. And what could otherwise be a little confusing is the use as it relates to the category of diabetes decreased, and the use as it related to weight loss increased. But really that was just sorting out and getting us more accurate utilization data, because everything was just automatically approved and jumbled together. So if somebody just said, I need a GLP-1 drug, and the doctor prescribed it and they filled it, it wasn't clear how that was getting categorized. Now there's a process that would say, I need a GLP-1 drug for my diabetes, and that's approved. Or I need my GLP-1 drug for weight loss, and that's approved. So it's allowing us to have a more accurate categorization of those two different kinds of situations. So there's a lot more data there than we're going to get into today, but I provided more as a reference since there was interest in some data. The next slide has to do with future expectations. Because of the rapid increase in demand for these drugs, there have been some on and off supply chain problems, and it just kind of ebbs and flows. We're unclear. It's unclear kind of what the effect of tariffs are going to do for our whole prescription drug program, including GLP-1 drugs. But there have been moments where certain drugs have been hard to access. So we've talked to our consultant, and they said, well, what are the future expectations? And they indicated the spend is still expected to increase, just at a more manageable rate. And it's going to increase with medical inflation, prescription drug inflation, new drugs coming out of various sorts, and increased utilization. So GLP-1 is definitely here to stay, and they continue to be part of our program. There's a lot of evidence that they are very effective drugs for serving the intended purposes that they're meant for. And there's a lot of new possibilities in the future for things that might move from injections to pills, for example. And we don't claim to be an expert. We do consult with our consultant on these kind of topics. So there's ongoing, with the programs, they're constantly managing what's happening day to day. So to kind of wind down a little bit here, there's drugs like Saxenda and Wegovy. They both have generic alternatives submitted to the FDA, but not yet approved. And in this space, sometimes there are lawsuits fighting over patents and things of that nature. So generally, the drugs are approved for us as a preferred brand name drug, meaning our employees would pay $16. The drug might cost something in the neighborhood of $1,600. So we do provide good coverage for employees. Our plan kind of keeps an eye out for generic alternatives when they're approved, but generally new drugs are on patent and it takes a while. So it's possible that this may take several years for more generic drugs to come out. Next slide is kind of wrapping my presentation up, and I'll open up for any questions. So as of February 2025, the FDA announced the shortage of weight loss drugs, Wegovy and Zepbound, has ended. So that was a plus, but it's kind of indicative of how the landscape keeps evolving and changing. And so our consultants monitor what the FDA is saying, et cetera. So we are looking at additional possible weight loss management programs, lifestyle intervention programs where we can help. Could be some coaching or things of that nature. We also have a great wellness program out of corporate, and we partner well with the departments. Departments do a lot of great things. In fact, this week it just so happens to be Fitness Week, and the departments have stepped up and done a variety of exceptional things. So kudos to the departments on that. And we offer different kinds of programs, weight loss, cooking type programs, help people learn to eat healthier, cooking demonstrations, webinars and other things, some of which we get for free from Kaiser Permanente or United Healthcare and some of our other partners. So we're constantly rolling out education in the wellness space. So, and we will continue to do that. So I'll stop there and see if you have any questions for Jennifer.
Thank you for following up for our request about 6 months ago, and this is very helpful information. I see various hands up. So Mr. Hedrick, you were first, and then Ms. Washington second there. See if there are any other hands. So why don't you go ahead and please.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions and a couple of concerns from what you guys sent over here. For one, I understand that we this is about money. It's not about wellness. Like we don't have any as I understand the research on this, these wellness programs and cost containment measures, as you mentioned at the end, don't actually do anything. They don't reduce anybody's weight. They're not long term and they're not very effective. So I'm not cooking demonstrations aren't gonna have any real impact on the bottom line. So I don't really think that's relevant to the question at hand. The second thing is it's very obvious from the data that you presented within the thing that you lost twice as many diabetes patients as you gained weight loss patients. And I was concerned when we originally talked about this, about the administrative burden, particularly for patients with diabetes. And I think that's confirmed by the data that you provided, is that you lost 166 paid claims for diabetes and you gained 89 for weight loss. If we're concerned about weight loss, GLP-1s actually work. Those wellness programs don't, for actual long-term maintenance of weight loss. So I'm wondering why we're pinching pennies on this, and then why we're still maintaining a bunch of these wellness programs that I don't think have any really good evidence that they're particularly effective, either in the short or the long term. And so do we have any evidence with the folks that went off of the GLP-1s for diabetes of why that happened? Did they not have diabetes? Did they just not be able to get the paperwork in? Were they not able to present, evidence of a diagnosis? Where is these numbers coming from? Are we sure that we're not denying care to some of our employees? And then on the second part, we all are still promoting several wellness, projects that are not known to be particularly effective, while these drugs are. And so I just wanted to talk through that a little bit.
Sure. Our wellness program is really fantastic. We have a number of employees that are participating and have reported that's been very helpful to them. It could involve exercise or modifying lifestyle of various sorts, food, et cetera. A number of our programs actually are free. So we're fortunate. United Healthcare and Kaiser think those programs are excellent, and they've been giving us programs actually for free. So that's been great. As I mentioned earlier, the accurate categorization of diabetes versus obesity in terms of use of GLP drugs wasn't happening properly before October 1. So when we implemented the program, we got more accurate categorization, which caused some of the people that were otherwise in the category of diabetes actually just shifted over to being approved under the category of weight loss. So that was what we were told, is that there was more accurate categorization.
That's my concern, is we lost twice as many diabetes patients as we gained weight loss. Your fundamental argument seems to be that people are getting this for weight loss off label, and that's causing us issues. Also at the beginning, if we're going to say that we think that people want it to lose 10 pounds to get a better, summer body, then we have some evidence for that. Otherwise, it's a little bit, it's a little bit of an iffy question. But also, we lost twice as many diabetes patients, which is a pretty clear diagnosis, versus gaining less than about half of that within weight loss patients for various, and like you said, you had to have a BMI over 27 or high blood pressure and existing, confounding diagnosis. I'm not convinced that this is doing anything other than creating administrative burden, and I don't see any evidence that you provided that that's not accurate. And I'm glad that the free Kaiser Permanente, but unless I show you any evidence that a cooking demonstration makes anybody lose weight, it's not really relevant to the thing at hand, when there is evidence that these actually do affect weight loss.
And there are health risks that are showing up in the news. A number of people are reporting sometimes muscle loss, that they are not doing some strength building exercises, nausea, problems with the injection site and things. So there's some different information clinically that's coming out that, it's helpful to have some clinical management overseeing a program that previously didn't have any clinical management.
I understand clinical management. I'm saying that side effects exist for all sorts of drugs. This isn't fen-phen, but still not real thrilled that we lost twice as many diabetes patients as we gained weight loss patients. If it's a recategorization, that's not recategorization. That's people with a very easily identifiable medical condition no longer getting a drug that works really well for that easily identifiable medical condition.
So,
Yeah, so if they, I'll just say one thing, if they had diabetes, then that would remain covered. Then nobody, I'm not aware of anybody that had diabetes and then, was removed.
if that's.
Okay, well, that's what I'm seeing in the slide that you provide. Paid claims decreased 166 on diabetes. Did they not have diabetes before? Were they lying? Were 166 out of 554 people lying? That doesn't seem to be really likely. I'm again, like, we're working from some premises that I, one, don't see proven, and two, don't see data. Like, if it's a money thing, like, I understand it's a money thing, it's going to cost us, but I don't see any evidence in what you've provided or what we've said that there's a fundamentally good reason to restrict access to these drugs. And if we need some clinical management, which I'm perfectly fine with what we're having, we're half of the people that dropped off the diabetes getting diabetes drugs when they didn't have diabetes. Is that a doctor thing? Is that a thing that they were lying? Is that an issue that we didn't have the right, administrative response? Like, I don't understand. I'm still not super convinced by this. Yeah.
So, let, all points well taken. Let some of the others, and then
Hopefully, yeah.
maybe a follow-up could be, maybe we can look at the data a little bit more, Mr. Allen. So let's look at some of the other folks here. Commissioner Washington, you had your hand up.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just a couple of questions. With regards to the Smart Edit program, it's referred to as CVS Smart Edit, and I just wonder if there is is that related to the pharmacy? And if so, what relationship do they have to the data you provided, or any insights? Is that an acronym you were using?
So we have health insurance plan with United Healthcare and Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser Permanente runs its prescription drug program in an integrated fashion. So that none of this has to do with persons that are involved with Kaiser Permanente. The United Healthcare program is separate for prescription drug, is run by CVS Caremark. So the Smart Edit program is a program that organization offers, and other companies offer something, but they might call it something different. So that's why it's called CVS Smart Edit.
Got it. Okay. And my second question is, and I just don't know, but with regards to the obesity and GLPs and or weight loss, does one have to continue taking a GLP after they have achieved their goal? Or if somebody could enlighten me, I'm just curious about that, because to your Commissioner Hedrick's point, I mean, there's a cost, but is it a short-term cost, long-term, or forever cost?
It's referred to as a forever cost.
Yeah, the weight
okay,
loss goes away when you stop taking the drugs. Yeah, like
Wow.
everything else. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It's a money thing. It's
Okay.
money. The whole thing is about just
No, I get the money piece. I just really didn't know. So, okay. Thank you. That's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much. Next, Mr. Giraldo.
Yeah, Commissioner Washington asked a question I was interested in with respect to whether or not people taking the drug for weight loss, whether or not that's a lifetime as opposed to short term. So is it a situation that if they're taking it for weight loss and they stop taking it because they've reached the weight that they want, does it then come back the weight? Oh, okay.
So, thank you. You have any other questions, Mr. Giraldo?
Yeah, I have the other question I have is, do we know why there was such a drastic reduction in the people that were taking it for diabetes? And then we had it come.
Yeah, so it was, things were just automatically getting approved without any checks and balances or kind of realization of what it was being used for, because it was just a prescription that was automatically approved. When we implemented a program, they were able to get data about categorizing it. And so the data was basically cleaned up. So if somebody was getting it for weight loss, before it was miscategorized as diabetes. They're still getting the same drug. They're just getting it, and now it's for weight loss.
The price doesn't make a difference though, right?
No, it's the same drug. So the drug cost is the drug cost regardless. Now, again, most
Okay.
plans in the United States, about 50% aren't covering it for weight loss, but we choose to do that. We want to do that.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's how you presented the data, because it's like a false decrease. It
Mhm.
really, all you've done is really you've created a baseline for the information, so.
So, yeah.
But I'm saying that those two aren't even though. The diabetes reduction isn't considerably higher. It's almost double what the overweight increase is. So we're losing, about 15% of the folks that were taking it for diabetes are now gone out of that. It's about 30%, and you assume that the half of them goes to the, if you assume that full thing, the whole rest of them goes to the overweight. I'm just concerned that we're, why is the diabetes like inaccuracy rate 30%? That doesn't seem very likely to me.
Well, why don't we, let me see, we have Commissioner Padwin, and then we'll go back to other questions.
Thank you, Chair Harris. I'm still a little bit confused to understand what is allowed and what is not allowed. So if I understand that if people have prescription for obesity or for diabetics, we cover the cost of these drugs. But if just someone wants to weigh 5 pounds or 10 pounds, and this is just a personal preference and they're perfectly healthy, they don't have obesity and they don't have diabetics, are we still covering that?
I think the answer is no.
I had trouble hearing the question. If you could just
Question.
One time, but are there any parameters around? I think you showed them parameters on who allowed to get until.
Yes. So prior to Article 1, there was no parameters. If you just wanted to lose 5 or 10 pounds and you said, I want the drug, it would be approved. Now, there's more research indicating that often, as Commissioner indicated a moment ago, that then that person that lost the 5 or 10 pounds that wasn't much overweight, they stop it, they gain the weight back. So by implementing the parameters, yes, not everyone is going to automatically be able to qualify for just automatic approval.
So the question is that if someone doesn't need it for the health purposes, it's just a personal preference, the commission doesn't cover the cost of these drugs. It has to be a doctor.
Thank you. I appreciate that question. That before we did, we just said, if you want it, it's approved. There was no check and balance whatsoever.
I'm asking for now. Yeah.
That was what I was supposed to say. Now, there is a check and balance, and if it's for
the answer is no.
It would not be proved.
Can we say
I think the answer is no.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
but I'm.
No, or it's not no. That's what I need to know.
Yeah, so please.
Hey,
We
good
don't
morning,
pay for
McDonald.
vanity weight loss.
Yeah,
Correct.
I
We
do
don't
want to.
pay
know
for-
if we are or not, because Todd is not giving me yes or no answer.
Okay, the answer is we will pay for obesity if the employee or the member meets certain criteria such as a BMI of 27 or above with one or more weight-related complications such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or diabetes.
Mhm.
So we do pay for obesity if they meet that criteria.
And that has to be with the doctor.
Correct. They have to go through a prior authorization where Caremark will request information from the physician. If the member meets that criteria, we will pay the GLP for obesity.
Thank you. That totally makes sense. That's the one that I needed to confirm. And by the way, I agree and I believe that the health programs that you have, like exercise or blood pressure monitoring, all of them are wonderful. I'm using them all. And I believe that people are using it as well, especially if these programs, if you come out of it, it may not be helpful. I think that you have to continue with what you presented, that what is the healthy way of living that people get used and try to use those. So I think those programs are wonderful and I wholeheartedly support it.
Yeah, that's correct. If your intention is to lose weight and you're on the GLP, you have to do those other things as well. Exercise, eat well. You just can't take the drug and expect to remain healthy. So you take the drugs in conjunction with exercise, eating right.
Thank you. And I do not know who is talking. Who is talking?
Sorry, we have a balloon here in front of the camera possibly, but this is Jennifer McDonald, our corporate benefits manager.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for responding. Yeah, I support the work that you're doing. It's very good. Thank you.
So I'd like just to say a couple things and then we should speak. Thank you for presenting this. What was a little confusing about people that data we got before and the data we have now. And I would recommend that we continue to monitor, right? You know, like come back, I don't know, 6 months. I don't know what's a good point to come back with usage data. And you tell us. That would recommend if you do that and see, you know, what has changed, you know, between the ratios of people using it for diabetes and people using it for weight loss. And I think that would be my recommendation is a next step. Also, I think that would be great on the wellness programs. It would be good to see, do we, without creating more work, the effectiveness of the wellness for, like, you know, who's participating, and I don't know if there's a questionnaire or something. I don't know have you been checking the effectiveness of the wellness program so that, you know, have that been done in the commission? I'm new to the commission. I need to periodically do surveys or whatever, and just trying to see if what we intended them to do, they're doing. It'd be stuff because it may want to modify them or whatever. Find the time so that, and also the last thing is, have people been writing to you saying that I wanted to get on X but can't, you know, the drug? Are you getting any feedback from the people in the commission about our usage of the, you know?
I haven't received any calls at all since we implemented the program about this. I get a lot of calls about thankful for how great our benefits are. Jennifer, have you had anybody complaining, I guess?
No, we have not received any complaints from any employee or member stating that they were taken off of the GLP-1.
Okay, or hard to get.
Like they were taken off, they knew it was because it wasn't for, they didn't meet the criteria. So they were satisfied with that. No one has complained.
So, Ms. Gallen, you have anything on it? Mr. Patrick, you could have one of the last words here. But I do feel that we should continue to monitor. We shouldn't come back periodically. I don't know what that is. What is that 6 month interval is a good interval? I'm not sure based on, but, and then so we can have an update on this, because the first level of data looked like it looked like something's wrong or something, and maybe people were, maybe the doctor checked the box or whatever, or so, but I think we should continue monitoring this and seeing not only, you know, the relative use or you be getting any feedback from employees about can't get it or whatever.
Thank you. We'll be happy to come back. There also was some supply chain shortages in that quarter. So, you know, that might have affected things a little bit, or there was things going on with some of the drugs. It was some drugs were a little hard to get, I think, in that time period, as I mentioned on one of the slides, but we'd be happy to come back. Maybe we propose 6 months, whatever the commissioners want, we're happy to do. Thank you.
I would definitely like to see some more evidence and numbers if you got it. I would also like, if we're going to do the presentation next time and we're just going to assume that everybody that's not getting it now was doing it for vanity purposes, you need to have some evidence to back that up. Or just stop using that as a rhetorical device. It's a little frustrating when we're talking about people that had it for diabetes and they've 166 of them don't get it anymore. And you're only making assumptions that it was vanity. You still had to get a prescription. You still had to go to a doctor. This is not an over-the-counter drug. So if you think it's vanity, or you think people were getting it for the wrong reasons or whatever you assume to be the wrong reasons, then you at least need to come with some evidence of that and not just assume it and then go through the
Yes.
presentation. Otherwise, knock it out of the argument, please. Otherwise,
I definitely didn't say that.
you did several times.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna then come back again with these wellness programs, which a great deal of evidence and empirical evidence says that overall they're not particularly effective. If Kaiser's giving them to us for free, fantastic. Everybody loves the cooking show. It's outstanding. But unless it does anything, it has no basis in this presentation. It's not the thing that we're discussing. If it's free, fine. The thing we're concerned about is the cost. So let's talk about the cost. And then let's talk about the health of our employees. The wellness, the cooking demonstrations, a lot of the evidence says that they have no long-term effect and they're not particularly good broad term. That's great. It's fine. Outstanding. It's not relevant to the question at hand.
So, I think good point, Mr. Hedrick.
Mhm.
So, if the commissioners, are we in agreement that come back at a periodic, at some point with more data on who's using it? And also, we're all about our employees having good health, and so let's monitor this.
To
I
have a
agree.
good data, you need to have it probably on an annual basis. I could see that when we don't have a good check and balance, the data could change. Now that we have a good check and balance, I think on annual basis, we could look at it and see that how it works. And if someone that was using it, of course, Jennifer said that it hasn't happened. We want to make sure that those people that they need it, they be able to get it.
And I think an annual basis is great. I because there was some discussion here, if you don't mind, that we could do a 6-month and then we can just go to annual after that. If that's, are you guys okay with that?
Certainly.
Works for
Thank
me.
you, commissioners.
Yes.
Fine, that's fine.
Okay. I don't think we need to vote on that. I think there's a consensus that way. So thank you so much for your presentation. Very, very interesting. So we're going to go on now to the last action item, which is resolution number 25-11, appointment of Brenda Edmond to the Merit Board System Board by, and Ms. King is making this presentation.
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Well, would you? Okay. No discussion. Okay, we'll just go ahead and approve. So, Ms. Washington voted for approval, and who seconded?
I did, Commissioner Geraldo.
Geraldo, to appoint Brenda Edmond to the Merit Board. Thank you. All in favor, could you do a roll call, please?
And we did read through the materials, Mr. Chairman, so.
Okay, no, I'm all good.
That was a motion of Commissioner Washington and second by Commissioner Geraldo. Chair Harris.
Aye.
Commissioner Hedrick.
Aye.
Commissioner Pettowee.
Aye.
Commissioner Geraldo.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
Aye.
Checking if Bartley or Linden has joined. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Yes, and I'd also like to just say that Vice Chair Shapiro and I both spoke with Brenda Edmond before she was voted for appointment, so we think it's a great selection. Thank you so much. So now we're going to, there are no executive director reports, secretary, president's report today, but we do have a report from general counsel. There's a litigation report. I think it's for information only, but if she would like to, our general counsel would like to make a presentation, please do. Can Ms. Ford be on?
Good morning. This is Wes Anderson, Deputy
Okay.
General Counsel. No,
Yes.
Ms. Borden is currently on leave, and I'll just let the report stand and speak for itself. I don't have a presentation.
Okay, thank you. And then now we have our annual legislative update. So we went to a great legislative session, a lot of positives out of it. And we have Ms. Malcolm Colbert here to present. Thank you.
Yes.
And welcome.
Good morning, commissioners. For the record, my name is Jordan Balcom Colbert. I'm the Government Affairs Liaison in the Office of General Counsel, here to deliver your annual final legislative report. We had another active legislative session, which concluded on April 7th this year. As the final report shows, you should have all gotten a copy. The Maryland General Assembly introduced over 2,000 bills and passed 878 bills combined from the House and the state. That's a slight decrease from last year's numbers. The Office of General Counsel tracked over 70 bills this year and focused on more than 20 bills based on verbal testimony, written statements, engagement with the members of General Assembly. So budget priorities. We also presented budget priorities before the Budget and Appropriations Committee leadership. We helped bring home quite a few legislative bond initiatives and grant money in over $6 million combined for both of our parks departments. Some of the big projects I want to highlight are the $3 million we received for Wheaton Regional for Montgomery Parks and $1.2 million for Public Playhouse for Prince George's Parks and Recreation. In program open space funds, the commission received an estimated $8 million. We've received some unofficial data from BLS. The official information should come out at the end of May. So the numbers that I'm reporting now should be pretty solid, but again, these are unofficial numbers. So about $8 million for both Montgomery and Prince George's counties for public program open space. Prince George's received an estimated $3 million. Montgomery received an estimated $4 million. Given the tight budget this year, these are really healthy numbers when you take a look at the final report compared to other states. Compared to what other counties got in the states. An estimated $35 million was allotted altogether throughout the state of Maryland to different counties. I'm going to highlight a few state legislative bills. The Protect Our Federal Workers bill. Some important state highlights include the passing of that bill, which geared at reaffirming support for federal workers that experience unemployment due to the recent closures and mass layoffs by expanding the existing catastrophic event account to address these instances. Given the federal workforce climate and the direct impact on the state of Maryland residents, the General Assembly this year stressed the importance of passing this timely legislation. This bill was signed last month in April. The solar bill, this bill passed. As you may recall, among other things, this bill established a distributed generation certificate of public convenience and necessity to authorize construction and operations of distributed solar energy generating systems. It requires the Public Plant Research Program by July 1st of 2026 to develop and submit to the commission proposed siting and design requirements and licensing conditions. As you know, this bill started out very popular in the fall in 2024 and was formally introduced in January 2025 during session. But this bill stayed quiet until the very last few days of session and actually passed. So this bill was signed into law yesterday on May 20th. HB 503, the Housing Development Bill, was a very popular topic. Housing was a very popular topic for the Moore-Miller administration these past couple of years. Last year, as you know, Governor Moore introduced a successful housing package, which the commission and various other stakeholders worked behind the scenes to help successfully pass. However, this year's housing push was not so successful. HB 503, the original version of the bill, sought to require the Department of Housing and Community Development and Planning to calculate regional housing infrastructure gaps. The bill was amended several times during the 90-day session and ultimately revised to reflect periodically establishing housing production targets for the state in certain local jurisdictions. Since this bill was not successful, we do expect new legislation on housing to pick back up next year, and stakeholders are already buzzing about it in the interim. Some major bill updates, live stream bill. This year, we wanted to try our hand at putting legislation in the pot that would really benefit the commission. Every year, we do a really good job at protecting the commission from harmful bills that would have a negative impact on the work that we do. So we decided to work with the Montgomery Planning Department on drafting a bill that would give the Montgomery County Planning Board more flexibility when it comes to conducting educational field tours. With that said, I want to congratulate Chair Harris and the Montgomery County Planning Department staff on helping the live stream bill pass clean, no issues. And now certain projects, site visits, and educational field tours will not require live audio or video for the planning board members of Montgomery County and WSSC. I had the pleasure of joining Jason Sartori, the Montgomery County Planning Director, and Alana Branda, Chief of Staff to the Commissioners, for an official bill signing earlier this month. This bill goes into effect July 1. So congratulations, Chair Harris and staff in the Planning Department. Now on to the Emory Grove bill. This bill did really well in the General Assembly this year and passed. As you recall, this bill would establish a task force on how urban renewal caused the displacement of residents in Emory Grove from the 1960s through 1985. The task force will be staffed by the Montgomery County Office of Human Rights to study how the urban renewal process displaced residents at that time. The task force will include representatives from the Montgomery County Parks Department. The first task force meeting is scheduled July 1st, which is coming up soon this year. An interim report is due December 2025, and a final report is due to the General Assembly in 2026. This bill was signed into law earlier this month, and again, myself and staff were in Annapolis for this bill signing as well, and we just really thank Delegate Crutchfield for allowing us the opportunity to be a part of this process. Development Authority bill. This bill, as you recall, intended to allow municipalities to impose additional or stricter building requirements that are required by county zoning on residential buildings with 4 or fewer dwelling units and their accessory structures without regard to the zoning for the land where the building is located. This bill was signed into law yesterday, effective date October 1st of this year. The accessory dwelling bill, as you know, and you may recall, this bill requires that on or before October 1st of 2026, each legislative body to adopt a local law authorizing the development of accessory dwelling units subject to certain requirements to meet housing needs. We helped the bill sponsor amend this bill into a much better working piece of legislation that would align with the county's goals. This bill passed, was signed into law, and the effective date is October 1st. A last few bills that were important to the commission this year is the Zoning and Fairness Bill. As you recall, this bill was introduced last year and it didn't pass. Reintroduced again this session. Among other things, as you recall, this bill initially focused on removing all the approval authority from Prince George's Planning Board and the Board of Appeals and giving exclusive approval authority to the Prince George's County District Council. And in the earlier stages of session, the Prince George's County delegation heavily amended the bill to focus on a task force to study land use issues, which was a little broad, but those issues would stem from issues in the county. This bill passed in the House, but it failed in the Senate, and it will likely return next year. Last few bills before I move on and close out is the Municipal Corporations Bill. This bill did not pass. And as you may recall, it authorized certain municipalities to exercise zoning and subdivision authorities, utilizing the same zoning code regulations as the county. Please expect this bill to come back next year. We've seen it quite a few times, and we do not anticipate that the bill sponsor will stop pushing for this bill. And so HB 832, which is an override of Municipal Corporations Bill, this bill would have allowed all 27 municipalities in Prince George's County to override any of the provisions of the county's 700 or more page zoning ordinances, which would cause uncertainty in the county and development and permitting process issues. As you know, this bill would have created more havoc for our planning in our county. And a lot of intense work and discussion went into looking into this bill during session. And so this bill did not make any progress in the Senate. And so this is a win for the commission, I believe, for all of our hard work. And there is a possibility that this bill might come back and be reintroduced next year. Last bill, Confederate renaming, it did not pass this year. This bill sought to establish a commission on state and local government real property bearing Confederate names. And so again, not sure why this bill didn't pass again. We supported it. We've testified this year in person as the panelists before the HGO committee. It might be due to a fiscal issue, but because of the subject matter and the times, it will likely come back again next year. Some bills take several times before they can get it right. And then lastly, to close out interim work. As you all know, we have our one-on-one meetings and community engagements in the interim. This is where a lot of the hard work takes place, where we meet with elected officials, stakeholders, and attend various community events and get a gauge on what the climate is going to be like for the next legislative session. And with that said, our team already has their boots on the ground and it's business as usual. Mako Summer Conference this year, this past summer, our staff participated in the conference, and we really had a great experience hosting a full commission booth with all of our departments and planning and parks. So thank you again for everybody that participated and all the hard work and the success on the booth. Please be on the lookout for a few new items on how we plan to engage delegation members again during this conference this year. And thank you as always, commissioners, for your time, for the department staff and all your hard work we put in this year. We had a really successful year. This concludes my briefing, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Balcom-Colbert, for your very detailed summary. And also, I just want to say thank you for your leadership during the legislative session and helping us navigate this legislative process, which is very complex. We were very successful, as you said, in getting some bills passed, or influencing certain bills, and for getting $6 million in bond funds and for $8 million in public open space, project open space funding. So thank you so much for your hard work, and we look forward to the upcoming legislative session. So Mr. Hedrick, I see you have your hand up, please.
Yeah, no, I just want to say as well, like Chairman Harris said, great work. I think that's a really good session overall for making sure that there were several in there that would have been rough to deal with. So good work. I mean, excellent work on that, and really do appreciate all that work. It goes a long way. I did want to ask real quick. Oh yeah, no, it's just very, very true. You guys do wonderful work, so thanks. I did want to ask real quick one question about the More Housing Bill. Not the More Housing Bill now that's ours in Montgomery County, but the state More Housing Bill. Is there, I mean, I know we've heard that there's, definitely something's going to come back. Do we know if it's going to be along the same lines? Do we have any sort of idea what the policy approach is going to be, or any of the details for that yet? Or is it still kind of?
We don't have the details yet. Mako and some of our other stakeholders are anticipating that it will focus on housing goals and how the counties can better produce data that might be helpful for next year, and maybe anticipate any issues or questions that come up that would be counterproductive to the progress of a new piece of legislation. Right now, there's just buzzing about it. So we are, again, boots on the ground, ears and eyes open, and we plan on probably finding a little bit more information over the summer.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Patton.
I don't know, Jordan, if this is a question for you or if it's a question for Jason Sartori. I'm wondering that those bills that passed, for example, for solar, for housing bills, accessory dwellings, do they change any of our current practices? What is the impact to our policies and procedures? For me, I'm concerned about Montgomery County, any changes that it has for us. And also for POS, I heard that some of the funding was diverted. I hear that we're still getting a good amount. Is it less than previous years, or is it at least in the same line of the previous year?
you want us to start, if we go in order, we'll start in order. I know that we do have some senior counsel on the line. Matt Mills and Delicia, our Coleman, are on the line to answer the questions as it relates to solar, and Jason might be on the line as well. And so if you want us to answer in that order.
That's fine. If they can answer now, I can just send something in writing and ask them later to provide me. It's just that I think it is important for us as commissioners and probably as a staff that when these legislations go into effect, how it impacts our business process, how it impacts our policies, procedures, our current laws and regulations. Because I don't know them all by heart, and how much it impact us. We heard it at the time that they were explaining to us, but a lot of things could have changed by the time that they are finalized.
Well, Commissioner
I can
Pettaway,
send
I
it
think
as a, go ahead.
you have Mr. Mills and Mr. Sartori on lines here. So to answer your question here. Mr. Mills, you want to go first?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to say hello to Commissioners Giraldo and Washington. Long time no see. We're all still here. And Commissioner Madam Vice Chair, or at least on Thursdays, Madam Vice Chair. With the solar bill, there will be a slight modification with projects between 1 and 2 megawatts. Everything else will stay pretty much the same. The state process for solar projects between 2 and 5 megawatts will still go to the Public Service Commission. It's supposed to be a slightly expedited process. We'll see how that pans out. But for the only difference substantively for us on the ground will be the projects between 1 and 2 megawatts. They will still be evaluated by the county, but there will be fewer reasons to deny them, would be the best way that I would describe it. So it won't, and really I would be surprised if the new legislation results in a flood of new applications. I think the impact will be rather minimal from a practical standpoint. And I believe Chair Harris said that Director Sartori is online, and I will let him speak to the housing issues.
ADU,
Sure.
because they're changing some ADU. I'm not sure that if it impacts us a great deal. We may have most of it in place already. I don't know.
Well, thank you. For the record, Jason Sartori, Montgomery County Planning Director. So I would say that I think that we are going to be taking a look at how any of these bills might impact and kind of conflict with our county law. And I assume that folks in Prince George's County are doing the same as well. And working with our council staff, our counterparts at the council in terms of making sure that we keep things as well aligned as possible. On the ADU bill, if I recall correctly, and Ms. Balcom Colbert might be able to confirm this, but I believe that we were heavily involved in trying to adjust the language in that prior to adoption so that it was better aligned with at least existing ADU law in Montgomery County. Again, I don't know how well it aligns with what is allowed in Prince George's County, but the hope is that I think it did get adopted as something that was a little bit more compatible with ours, but we'll continue to take a look at that to see if we need to make any adjustments on our end.
I was just curious. Thank you. That's good enough. So we are still looking at it. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I do not know if anybody from Parks Department is here to tell us what happened to POS, because I heard that the bad news was that they diverted the funding from POS to somewhere else. And POS is sort of a lifeline for the Parks Department. So I do not know if we still got a lot less, some less, or what.
So
Yeah,
this is Jordan. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Got you.
Well, Jordan, I don't know if you have the full numbers in front of you. I was just going to provide Commissioner Pettaway. Okay. Hi, Commissioner Pettaway. I'll pass it off to Jordan if she has the full numbers. But the short story is, we we took a pretty significant hit from our projected POS budget to final, and we had to cut a number of projects that we anticipated to do,
Yeah.
and that was offset to a large degree by the grants that we were able to receive, but it wasn't one-to-one because those grants are specific for specific projects, and we're still going to have to delay other projects through
So
POS.
it did impact us. Okay.
It very much impacted us. Yes.
And that's too bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would
was
just like
hoping
to
hear
add that,
something.
there
Yeah.
was some recommendation from DLS to kind of divert those funds. That's probably what you were hearing, Commissioner. And a lot of effort from stakeholders, including the commission, went into reaching out to all of the committees that were involved to ask them not to do this. And so I don't think they went that route. However, like everything else in the budget, they did trim some costs down. And then historically in previous years, I think before when we first started this journey, there were about $14 to $13 million in program open space for both of our counties. So now, as you can see, that has significantly decreased.
Yeah, that's really bad. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you for all the good work, Jordan. I really very appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. No problem. My pleasure.
Yeah, there's definitely strength in numbers. We talked about the one commission, and we really pushed hard as a bi-county commission for funding and for them not to reduce funding as much, and it was due to the strength of our commission. So thank you. So we're going to go into, thank you. That's the open session of our meeting this morning. Now we're going to go in closed session. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
But let me just officially read that pursuant to Maryland General Vision article of the annotated code of Maryland section 3-305B9, closed session is proposed to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters that relate to the negotiation. I have a motion to go into closed session.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Geraldo, second by Commissioner Washington. We have a roll call, please.
Chair Harris.
Aye.
Commissioner Henry.
You are on
You're
mute,
muted.
Jay.
I know I lost track as the thing popped up to tell me to go into closed session. Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Pedowin. Commissioner Geraldo.
I vote aye.
Commissioner Washington.
Aye.
Checking on Commissioner Bartley or Commissioner Linden. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, and see you in closed session.
Thank you. we're back in the open session. In our closed session, we talked about the collective bargaining negotiations and matters that relate to negotiations. So and this will end our commission meeting for today. Do I have a motion?
Passing of minutes as well. Passing of minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, and we passed the April 16th closed session minutes. So if no other business for today, do I have a motion to close the, our open
Move,
session?
move approval, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Washington.
I'll second.
Moved by Commissioner Washington, second by Commissioner Hedrick.
You don't need it. You did need a motion.
Okay.
We can just vote.
Okay, we're closed for today. Thanks everyone for participating.
Thank you.
Those that are listening in, have a great weekend and we'll see you in a month. Thank you.
Thank
will.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.